Excellence, dear colleagues and friends, good morning and a warm welcome to this side event, the Drinking Capacity Building for the Energy Transition. The COP30 is all about shifting from negotiation to action. In 2 weeks' time, representatives from the UN, national governments, international organizations, enterprises, and institutions, as well as various sectors of society are diving deep into key issues like finance, technology, and just transition, working hard to turn global climate promises into real-world action plans. Accelerating energy transition and advancing green, low-carbon development are not only essential but urgent steps in addressing climate change and achieving sustainable development. However, there are differences in capacity across different regions and countries in areas such as policy, technology, finance, and human resources. These gaps are holding back speed and scope we can scale up the energy transition. That's why strengthening capacity building and enhancing low-carbon transition ability are crucial to fulfilling the goals of the Paris Agreement. Therefore, GEIDCO, together with PCCB, OLAD, SE4O, UNSDSN, and CET, are co-hosting this event. Our goal is to share experiences, build consensus, and foster international collaboration in climate and energy transition capacity building. First, I'd like to extend our sincere gratitude for your presence here today. Now, let's proceed to the opening address session. First, let's watch a video message from His Excellency Mr. Gu Shengzu, former Vice Chairman of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, to deliver opening remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to address you at the platform COP30 and share on global energy transition and climate governance. I would like to propose 3 key initiatives, use keywords of transformation, innovation, and cooperation, which are critical to addressing the urgent challenges we face. First, build a fair and reasonable global energy governance system to accelerate energy transition, turning ambitions into actions. In 2025, hottest year on record, there is a possible of surpass 1.5 target in single year. Urgent action are needed to accelerate energy transformation. Methane is moving from a carbon storage to a large amount of emissions. The COP28 conference set a target to triple renewable energy capacity from 2022 to 2030 and made a roadmap for transitioning away from fossil fuels in energy system. China's renewable energy capacity, such as wind and solar power, has increased more than tenfold over the past decade. The newly established NDC target is to grow it sixfold from 2020 to 2035. China is an active actor in responding to climate change and advancing the energy transformation. China provides more than 80% of global solar power components and 70% of wind power equipment. EV cells accounting for more than 60% of global markets. New energy patents accounting for more than 40% of global total. Second, promote green technology innovation through the combination of effective markets and proactive governments, achieving deep integration of green transformation and digital upgrade. 2 major economic transformations, green transition and the digital transition. We need to empower the green transition with digitalization and drive digitalization with green transitions. According to the Global E-Sustainability Initiative, by 2030, digital solutions could reduce global carbon emissions by over 1.2 billion tons, nearly 1/5 of total global emissions. Global energy transition technology innovation is in accelerated breakthrough period. These innovations have driven the average electricity generation costs for wind and solar projects to decrease by more than 60% and 8%, respectively, over the last decade. China's national carbon market has become the largest carbon emissions trading market in the world. In the energy transformation process, governments should immediately correct market failures and create an enabling environment for markets to function effectively. Third, deepen international exchanges and cooperation in global energy governance to build a clean, beautiful, sustainable Earth home faced with the most complex and the largest collective action challenge in global governance. No country can remain unaffected. International cooperation is on the bridge, cornerstone for solving all these problems. China's green energy project cooperation covers more than 100 countries and regions. The wind and the solar energy products exported over the past 4 years have reduced the carbon emissions by more than 4 billion tons for other countries. China's EV exports are shifting toward emerging markets such as Brazil, Mexico, and Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, China is willing to work with all countries under the framework of COP30 to build consensus, deep cooperation, and jointly write a new chapter in responding to climate change and achieving sustainable energy development. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Chairman Gu. Now, let's welcome Mr. Wu Xuan, Secretary General of GEIDCO, to deliver opening remarks. Welcome.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today, GEIDCO, together with the PCCB and the UNFCCC, the UNSDSN, OLAT, SE4, and the CET, co-hosting this event on capacity building. Our aim is to leverage the GEIDCO platform to share practical experience in promoting energy transition and addressing climate change, and to foster exchanges and cooperation in building energy and climate governance capacity. First of all, on behalf of GEIDCO and Chairman Xin Baoan, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all guests and express our sincere thanks to all partners who have given strong support to this event. Ladies and gentlemen, climate change is becoming increasingly severe worldwide. 10 years after the adoption of Paris Agreement, although many countries have made significant efforts, a huge gap still remains between the current process of global carbon reduction and the targets. Promoting a green and low-carbon energy transition has become an urgent and common task for all nations. In September 2015, Chinese President Xi Jinping proposed the important initiative of building a global energy interconnection at the UN Development Summit. This initiative provides an important solution to advancing the global energy transition and addressing major challenges such as climate change. GEI is a modern energy system that is clean-oriented, electricity-centered, interconnected, and intelligent. On the supply side, it involves large-scale development of clean energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydro, and the safe, reliable, and orderly replacement of fossil fuels to achieve clean energy production. On the demand side, it promotes deep substitutions of fossil energy with green electricity and hydrogen to achieve electrified energy consumption. On the distribution side, it promotes power grid interconnection and empowers traditional grids through digital and smart technologies to enable efficient and wide area energy allocation. Building GEI will use energy as a bond to promote climate change mitigation and ecological governance, drive the upgrading of related industries, and guide society towards a green, low-carbon, and sustainable development path. Ladies and gentlemen, capacity building is an important foundation for promoting energy transition and addressing climate change. Now, there are significant differences in energy and climate governance capabilities among countries. Many developing countries, limited by technology, talent, and finance, face challenges in advancing their green and low-carbon transmission. Enhancing their capacity is key to achieving an inclusive and fair global energy transition and the goal of the Paris Agreement. At present, we must work together and act quickly on three key areas. First, strengthen technology exchange and sharing. Through experience sharing the technology transfer, we can help developing countries acquire technologies based on their resource conditions. Second, develop talents by organizing training programs to train professionals in energy planning, equipment, and engineering. Third, increase support for projects and financing by innovating project development and financing models. We can help developing countries build practical, profitable, and sustainable green and low-carbon projects. GEIDCO is committed to building a mutually beneficial platform for international energy cooperation. We now have 1,390 members from 143 countries. Over the years, we have established close partnership with the United Nations, major international organizations, government departments, and enterprises in many countries. We have signed over 60 cooperation agreements, hosted more than 60 high-level international conferences, and released over 100 innovative outcomes. We have also provided capacity building training for tens of thousands of participants from over 100 countries in areas such as renewable energy, power grids, and electric vehicles. Looking ahead, GEIDCO is ready to strengthen cooperation with all parties to jointly build GEI, support capacity building for energy and climate governance in all countries, and contribute more to a green, low-carbon, and sustainable future for the world. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Wu. Now, let's welcome Her Royal Highness Princess Azabdejma co-chair of PCCB, for her remarks. Welcome.
Thank you very much. And before I start, allow me to thank you and to welcome the powerful vision of His Excellency Xi Jinping. You need a vision to make sure that you can move the power of the business behind. And we're extremely grateful to his leadership and the vision that he launched at the UN Development Summit. It shows the criticality and the need of human being as we move ahead. It's my great honor and a pleasure to open this event entitled Strengthen Capacity Building for Energy Transition. I happen to be a negotiator also, and we're still negotiating the just transition, and I'm very happy to hear what I'm hearing here, and that will serve to inform the just transition mechanism that we are calling for. Increase support and financing. Thank you so much. That's what you said. And that is very critical. That's where we need to be concrete in our way forward. And also, I joined you on thanking the co-organizers, because you need to come together to pull the effort to make sure. Thank you so much for your commitment, because it takes decades and legacy to move along and go together. Today, we are at the second opening of the session, of the thematic session of the 7 capacity building. I need to put my reading glasses. I just have them not long ago, and I need to get used to putting them back. After 50, you need to adapt. So we are under adaptation. So I'm adapting. Please bear with me. So building capacity for energy transition and build. This is very important, and we're so happy that GEIDCO taking the leadership with the energy cluster. I have been honored to participate at the launch online, where it has been inclusive and bringing all the key stakeholders on board. This is very important for us. We thank you for your leadership, and also the Secretariat. Alejandro, thank you so much with your entire team behind the scene and helping us. Without you, we can't move forward as a committee to make sure that we are delivering. At the end of the day, it's about delivery, and that's what we are here for, to deliver in Belém and the Amazon. This is part of the means of implementation, and energy is at the core, is our oxygen. Without that, there is no products, there is no healthcare. It's in the value chain. It's one of the pillars of the development of the means of implementation, finance, technology transfer, and capacity building. And that is you combining that. And when you combine that with affordability, you have said that affordability is key, making sure that we're reaching everyone, that is tailored for purpose, and having and keeping in mind that the local solutions, because you started locally in China, and from local you influences the global narrative, and that is very important. Local versus global, bottom-up approach, and the magic always happens when the top meet the bottom. And this we're extremely grateful, leading by example. That's what we see in the presentation by the CEO, and also the video that you shared with us today. And of course, it takes time to make sure that we got to the transformative. What that means, energy for productive use. That's what the community needs, and you're linking that to the needs of our people. And it's key here in the Amazon is the cup of truth, is the cup of implementation, is our cup. Own it, don't do Netflix, as I say to people, engage, engage, and engage. Otherwise, you will be leaving that cup without growing your network. Inclusivity matters. And at PCCB Network, that's what we're doing. We're joining forces, building on each other, a force and leverage and move along for finance. You have said it, we need to come together for fundraising, getting our project investor ready, because the investor, there is money in the air. We can leverage the carbon credit, the carbon market. And China also is leading and paving the way on that. And the PCCB is really keen on continuing to make sure that we can scale up and reach that net zero carbon that we're looking forward. And I think that making sure that we are assessing, when you look back, then you need indicators to support you, to readjust what you're doing. And it's overwhelming for me to see and to welcome, of course, today the launch of the GEICO Gaps and Need Assessment and Global Energy Transition Capacity Building. It is very important. We need to have tools, and this is one of the products that can serve parties, serve the different key stakeholders to make sure that we implementing in the right way. And I'm so happy to see also when we did the opening of the this capacity building hub, I have been talking about the Mucherao Burkindi Coalition on Capacity Building. We are together in the PCCB network, and we join forces to deliver on the field together, and we welcome that offer to work together. This collaboration marks indeed the assessment, an important milestone in our collective effort to identify where the most critical capacity building gaps exist, from forces development and technology development to policy design and financing mechanism. The findings will serve as a foundation to inform actions under the PCCB and its network. Just saying that's what you're doing, inform us, even as negotiators, that's inform us, and I will take it to the negotiation room to inform as well and support the implementation of the mechanism. The mechanism is not to reinvent the wheel, it's to emphasize, to reinforce, to highlight what you're doing, how the policy can support the business sector. We're not here to arm you as a party. We're here to hear what the business need, because at the end of the day, what we design in the blue zone, it's a green zone, is the private sector is going to implement it. So we are friends. We're not separate, and I want to acknowledge and reiterate it today. Today's event is an opportunity to learn from each other, as I said, and to identify concrete capacity needs and to explore innovative ways to build the skills and institutions that will power the energy transition. But as we're transitioning, you know that LDCs and the G77 countries home for critical minerals that support that energy transition. We need to make sure also that as we move along, that we are formalizing also the informal sector, that we're bringing them on board, because they are your fellows, the next captain of industries. For market access, it's huge markets. Just keep it in mind. The more you will help them to go to the next step, the better it will be. And also helping the women and the youth to make sure that their businesses also will, because they are a powerful house of business providers and innovative ideas that can support the way forward that you are here for. Capacity building is not a one-time effort. It's a continued journey of empowerment, learning, and collaboration. Because when we strengthen capacities, we're strengthening hope. Hope. Give that dream. We are all here because we dreamed, and we're realizing our dream. And we need to keep dreaming and keep that soul in us, that little girl or that little boy who was telling his dream to his grandma or grandpa. And if you look back, when you were talking about your dreams, I invite you to think of it when you realize what you were saying, that I'm sure that it's what you are today. But let's encourage our youth to make sure that we're helping them to realize their dream. And a personal note, I just want to encourage all of us to continue the commitment that we have. Of course, the way is not linear, and I encourage you to continue thinking and dare to think the unthinkable. That's where you can push it to the next level, because when you got born, you have been so powerful. Can you imagine how you push to get out? Remember that. how powerful you were with maybe 300 or 3 kilo. Look at that powerful that you have, and this strength in on you. Thank you so much, China, for your leadership, and we will continue under the leadership of the support of the Secretariat. Eva, thank you so much for your support. All the colleagues, David, and on behalf of the PCCB members, we would like to thank you and warm welcoming again. I will wish to excuse myself. I won't be able to stay to the entire session because I have to go back to the negotiation room. But I'm open, and the Secretariat is here. Once again, thank you, Sheshia.
Thank you, Your Highness. In May, persons attended the launch of the PCCB's energy cluster and have since provided tremendous support. From its establishment, the energy cluster has made significant progress in expanding partnerships, implementing training programs, and encouraging knowledge and case sharing. It is becoming a key platform for global energy transition capacity building. We look forward to continuing this collaboration to narrow down capacity gaps in energy transition. Now, let's move to the keynote speech session. First, let's invite Professor Saif Rahman, the 2023 President and CEO of IEEE and a member of GEIDCO's Technical Committee, to deliver his speech. Welcome.
Your Excellencies, gentlemen, ladies, gentlemen, good morning, and Zhao Shanghao. This is the front gate before it was broken down a couple of nights back. I came here to talk about many different things. You see on the top, I show two things: climate change and CO2 emissions. That's where I'm coming from. This whole meeting is climate change, or core is CO2 emissions. So this is what I'm talking about. How does energy transition help reducing carbon emissions? That's where I'm coming from. So this is an example of existing connectivity globally, mainly Europe, about cross-border power transfer. Look at on the upper left, you see the picture, Scotland to Norway, Denmark to Norway, and so on and so forth. Why is that important? Because by connecting Scotland, 20 gigawatts wind capacity, demand is only 6 gigawatts. 20 capacity, demand 6. What do? They sell power to Norway, they hold the water back, use Scottish wind power. And then daytime, when the demand is high, they let the water go. This is how they avoid burning coal plants, for example. Similarly, if I go forward, this is close to home, or my home. I was born in Bangladesh. Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore line. Laos has a lot of hydro, not enough demand. They build a line, Laos to Thailand, you can see the connectivity, Malaysia, Singapore. As a result, Singapore is not building any more oil-fired or gas-fired plants because they're getting power from Laos. Example is not just your country. Many countries have the capacity to ship power back and forth, but they need a market first. More market issues coming up. This one is an example in the Middle East. Gulf GCC countries, it started Kuwait, then Saudi Arabia, then Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, and Oman. They're selling power back and forth. Why is it important? There's a lot of solar happening in Saudi Arabia and UAE today, a lot of solar. But people say, well, sand, they have no snow, by the way. When the sandstorm comes, they cover the panel, 30% drop in output. But sandstorm doesn't happen everywhere at the same time. When UAE sandstorm hit, Saudi is still open. They sell power back to UAE, cover them. That's an example of thinking big, connecting opportunities so that everybody is safe. This is India, Nepal, Nepal-Bangladesh interconnection. Why is it important? Nepal is a country, cold country. They need power more in winter time, hydropower. India, a lot of air conditioning, summertime. So that's example how Nepal is sending power to India in summertime. Their local demand is low, and India is getting power in summer from Nepal. Reverse, winter time, India AC load is almost zero, sell power back to Nepal. Why I'm saying this? To make this happen, you need capacity in the country to understand these dynamics. Engineers, policymakers, academics. So all of them have to work together so that we are delivering, like the idea that we just heard from Princess, that we all work together. So this is an example of how GEIDCO can help train manpower. Example here in Bangladesh, they're buying power from India, 1,000 megawatts, through an HVDC terminal in the India-Bangladesh border. About 10 years ago, that equipment failed, 1,000 megawatt. Whole Bangladesh went dark. Because they had no contingency. They should know it will happen. If something can happen, it will happen, today or tomorrow. So this is where we are coming from. GEIDCO can be a force behind training people and many things like grid core, simulation, stability, hardware recovery, not just manpower training. At the end of the day, what happens? You have better infrastructure for the power system in the country. Less load shedding, more reliable, and so on. So I'm not talking about energy transition part of it. In the process, we're giving much more. This is what we should talk about. Always, like the princess said, think big, go ahead, and be ready for the future. That's my approach. Okay. Now, this is what I told Chairman Shin Bawan last September, that we can help, I'm IEEE former president, build a GEIDCO academy for building capacity. We come here, we see PCCB, all is fine. When I go home, what do? I need something in my country, in my city, that would be reliable, that would be available. I proposed this idea, they liked it very much. They talk about workshops, seminars, conferences, and look at that. Forming engineers, policymakers, and academics to join. Not just policymakers, many policymakers are here, but that is not enough. Policymakers, engineers, and academics like me. So this academy is the platform, is infrastructure to keep us working beyond COP30. Example, this case, in our example here, you will ask me, where is the manpower coming from for this academy? Well, we have GEIDCO engineers, State Grid, China Southern Grid, China EPRI, and many countries. They exist. Point to bring them together in this academy platform. Also, IEEE My Society, French SIGRE also have content. So my point is content is not short. We just don't know where it is and how to bring them together under one umbrella, one roof, so that they are all easily exchangeable. Here is the case of operations. Idea first, talk about infrastructure, and then how would you run it. Operations meaning I can bring in people from, I don't know, Thailand to China, from China to Vietnam, from Vietnam to Brazil, all of those. This academy can be the infrastructure to make all these ideas work properly. And focus is low cost, renewables, and interactivity. Then this is my last slide. Thank you very much. I give you my email address. I know the questions may come up. Write to me. I do reply emails very, very quickly. Okay? 谢谢.
Thank you, Professor Rahman. Your suggestion about GEIDCO Academy is very important to GEIDCO. and Chairman Xin Baoan has arranged it. We are doing now. Now, let's welcome Mr. Shah Abdul Sadi, Director of Economic Relations Division, Ministry of Finance, Bangladesh, for his speech. Welcome.
So what a synchronization, science followed by policy. And this is what we really needed to deliver the Paris Agreement, to deliver the mitigation target and the temperature targets. So before that and before starting, let me thank GEIDCO for inviting me to share my experience and thoughts here before very scholarly audience coming from institutional partners, CSOs, and governments, also princes here, and also from academia. So I am a bit intimidated, so please be with me. I do not have any slides, but I will try to glue my whole talk through my experience and categorizing that. Excellencies, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, it's really an honor and privilege for me to say a very good morning to you all. And this is what we recognize, that strengthening capacity across the 3 dimensions of the power system. And this is my glue. The 3 dimensions, so I would like to request the audience to follow me through this glue. The 3 dimensions: institution, actors, and technology. These 3 dimensions of the system, the power system, across these dimensions, we need to build capacity. And before unpacking that, let me share some experience from Bangladesh in terms of the off-grid renewable energy generation systems. For example, between 2013 to 2018, we installed 4.2 million solar home systems. So these are not connected with the grid. And we have replaced 2,225 diesel-driven pump by solar irrigation systems. And we have 27 solar mini-grid systems. So these are the decentralized renewable energy generation systems. And coming to the grid-connected solar renewable energy systems, we have already integrated 14 grid-tied solar generation systems, which we call as solar parks. And we have 12 solar parks in implementation and 40 solar parks which are in the planning process. And we have also under construction of 1 megawatt waste to electricity system, and we are also planning for 200 megawatt offshore wind generation systems. And thankfully, we have 24 net metering solar systems in operation. And by the way, the grid-connected solar systems, we have 730 megawatts of inbuilt capacity. I think it's met only 3% of the total electricity needs currently. We may be falling behind, we are maybe behind the renewable energy generation targets that we gave to us. Now, I started with the glue. So I will focus on the institutional dimension of the power system, which is critical to drive the shift from a high-emission power generation system to a low-emission power generation system. So the government of Bangladesh basically did institutional reformation, including the deregulation of the power system. So in terms of the institution, we can look at it in two aspects. Firstly, regulatory framework. So we adopted renewable energy policy in 2008 and gave us a target to meet 15% of our electricity need from renewable energy sources by 2025. Then we integrated it in the power system master plan, and in that master plan, we gave us a higher, ambitious target of meeting 40% of our electricity needs from the renewable energy sources by 2041. That is the target currently we are on. And having said that, are the major institutional changes. There are others, but because of the time constraint, I won't go for that. But look at the institutional arrangement, how these policies will be implemented. It is within the power division, which is basically power ministry, that we have created a renewable energy wing headed by a dedicated additional secretary and the staff. So it is within the regime, within the incumbent system, that we have created an institutional body to promote renewable energy. And it is the generation utility, Bangladesh Power Development Board, that we have a IPP cell, Independent Power Producer Cell. And within this cell, there is renewable energy IPP cell with separate functions, with separate people there. And we also established Sustainable and Renewable Energy Development Authority. It is an entirely new institutional body entrusted for the promotion of the renewable energy generation and achieving power efficiency. Time up. Okay, so can I have just 2 minutes to finish? I'm sorry for that. And now the actor dimension. If we look at the actor dimension, actors, those who have already investment in the fossil fuel-based power generation systems, and then the new entrants, the renewable energy entrepreneurs, and then the users community. We need a synchronization of them because there lies the need for financing, and there lies the need for adopting the principles of just transition, because it is about leveraging market-based financing instruments, for example, bonds, equity, guarantee, to resource it, and it's about protecting the revenue generation, about maintaining and upskilling the skills. And now the technology-wise, technology dimension, we are moving to, because we are focusing on maintaining the stability, reliability, and affordability of the system. So we need a smart grid system to embrace, to integrate larger amount of VRE-based power generation system. Still, it is analog. I mean, for example, the load distribution is done on a spreadsheet. So greening the grid is important. There, we need investment. So the key enabler is investment and combining together the institution, the constituencies of actors, and the technologies. If we can combine this by the process of developing capability and capacity, then we can really drive a transition, an electricity transition. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sadi, for sharing so many details of energy development Bangladesh. We look forward to deepening our cooperation and supporting Bangladesh in advancing energy transition capacity. Now let's watch a video message from Mr. Ruad Madab, Director of UNDP Sustainable Energy Hub.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could be with you all today back in Brazil, where the first Earth Summit began. It's great to have the opportunity to collaborate with GEIDCO again. COP30 comes at a pivotal time, with less than 5 years to meet the 2030 targets. The Baku Climate Finance Framework established a new collective goal in financing the just transition, and now is our chance to turn pledges into action. Although we have made progress since the Paris Agreement, as described by the Secretary General Guterres in his opening remarks, our moral failure to remain below 1.5 degrees signifies the urgency of not only scaling and accelerating, but centering a just energy transition across all sectors, and this requires the skills and capacity to do so. So we have the tool at our disposal, yet the benefits are not distributed equally. Around 60% of global energy production remain inefficient. Digitalization could transform clean energy system, but digital access is still starkly divided. While 68% of the world is online, only 27% are in low-income countries. 84% of AI projected economic gains by 2030 are expected to flow to the US, China, and Europe. As technological advancement accelerate and transform energy system, ensuring these tools are equitably accessible will determine whether this transition is just. And there has been progress in transitioning from fossil fuels. In 2024, renewable provided a record 32% of electricity generation. Energy capacity increased by 15%, representing 92.5% of new power generation. And clean energy surpassed fossil fuel investment. Roughly 400 million people have gained access to electricity since 2015. This is a huge accomplishment, and our dedication has impacted the lives of millions of people. To echo the words of President Lula at the COP30 Leaders Summit, we proved that collective mobilization delivers results. So, ladies and gentlemen, the energy transition is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to transform societies, ensuring climate mitigation and development at the forefront. However, it requires equipped workforce to transition with it. Without human-centered approach, we fall short in closing the gap between technological innovation and human capital. In this sense, several questions come to my mind. What would a truly inclusive skills agenda looks like? Who is being left out of the energy transition? Or how can capacity building close the gap? Let me share 3 important points. Number 1, investing in human capacity and skills to scale the clean energy transition through digital technologies. In 2023, the renewable energy sector supported 16.2 million jobs worldwide, an increase from 13.7 million in 2022. Despite this sector generating millions of new jobs, reports estimate a global deficit of 7 million skilled workers by 2030, reflecting a lack of technical skills in engineering, digital infrastructure, and installation capacity. Available jobs in the sector increased by 9% annually, while talent only grew by 5%. So, how can we leverage skills and capacity effectively amid a quickly changing sector? We need to scale investment that align clean energy and digital skills with job demand by strengthening innovation ecosystem as dynamic network that can create, collaborate, and apply knowledge to develop practical solutions. For example, UNDP Sustainable Energy Digital Intelligence Platforms use AI, geospatial, and data-driven strategy to scale progress toward a just energy transition, but it also includes an energy academy that expands capacity through various e-models. Number 2, establishing robust policies that ensure sovereignty and localized benefit, bridging energy transition with development. Regional collaboration can expand skills, technology transfer, and promote economic advantages to local communities. With 30% of the world's critical mineral reserve coming from Africa, only 2% are destined to other African countries, while local processing remain extremely low. In this context, critical mineral policies and development policies can work hand in hand. For example, more African countries are ensuring that resource wealth drives long-term sustainability, requiring investment to build local value chain, transfer technology, and train workforce, turning investment into a driver of national and regional growth. Third point, scaling digital, data, and AI to access relevant skills training and workforce expansion. AI is an important part of the COP30 this year, with plan to build out AI and climate action across the global south. While this technology helps bringing us closer to transforming energy system and achieving our clean energy goals, or we trade-off prove to exert from stress on this energy system. With the renewable energy workforce expected to grow to 38 million jobs by 2030, AI-enabled and data-driven training program can help close this gap by tailoring sectoral gap to local context and workforce needs. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, at this COP in Belém, we all came together to plan and execute goals that require input, sacrifices, and action from each one of us. And UNDP and GEIDCO have been working closely to expand innovative finance, South-South collaboration, and digital solution to accelerate a just energy transition. To echo President Lula once again, it is time to face reality and decide whether we will have the courage and determination necessary to change. And this change, ladies and gentlemen, must be human-centered to achieve our goals. Only by investing in people equitably can we translate ambition into lasting impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Madden. Now let's welcome Ms. Gloria, Director of Integration, Access, and Energy Security, ALAD. Welcome.
Thank you very much, distinguished guests. It's an honor for MOLADE to be here to participate in these sessions. Latin American Energy Organization, ALADE, is an international and intergovernmental public body. We in charge of cooperation and coordination on technical advisory. We established 52 years ago, so we work with 27 member countries from Latin America and the Caribbean. In these last years, capacity building has been established, one of the cornerstones on our energy development in Latin America and the Caribbean, leading us to analyze the region capacity building that we have and needs multiple perspectives. In one hand, we, from the labor market perspective, we estimated by 2030 nearly 3.5 million new direct jobs will be creating, leaked in various technologies driving in energy transitions like solar, wind, hydrogen, storage, bioenergy, among others. This process it cannot be without some challenges that we have. We identified significant capacity gaps also across the entire value chain that we have, from projects to design and to maintenance, including the installation and development and the application of the new technologies that we have. These gaps encompass both of proficiency, digital tools that we have to specialize softwares, as well as practical skills required in construction, in operation and management and modern energy systems. On the other hand, we also found urgent the need the energy planning and the public policy. It's essential that the technical teams that we have in our countries and the public officials across the region have an access to data resources that allow them to keep the national plans and the policies current, aligned to the international commitments and the sustainable development goals. As you can see, there are multiple dimensions that INOLADE currently addressing. We are most continuing to address in the coming years to ensure the effective and just and inclusive energy transition. As a concrete example, we committed the capacity building training in our platform, the virtual energy training platform that we have, CAPEVLAC, for the Latin American and the Caribbean. This is a regional online training that we have spaces to offer, and specialized courses, trainings, energy transition, energy efficiency, and all the topics, methane, and all the topics that we have in the agenda of our ministerials. To the date, we have over 30,000 people from OLADE 20 members and countries have been trained from CAPEVLAC, and also we work with Academy too. We have an MBA on energy transition with the University of the Rosario in Argentina, and also we have some diplomas that we are working in energy diplomacy and also in e-mobility that we have. So far in 2025, we reached nearly 500,000 new participants in last 2022. We have delivered 45 courses in key direct areas that the agenda of ministerial meetings address to us. And this platform is enabled thousands of professionals, technical students across the development and regional experts, democratize the energy knowledge and reducing the training gaps. Through CAPEVLAC, OLADE has strengthened the technical, institutional, and human capacity of the region, mostly of the governments. That is our key part in OLADE, promotes continual learning and professional development and cooperation among other institutions. So we can if you can join us to be part of this CAPEVLAC, we be very happy to have you. And also we have the same spirit that we celebrate this effort from GEIDCO for UNFCCC, PCCB, who launched today this initiative of capacity building gaps and needs for the energy transition. From our perspective, if we converge the effort, it represents a unique opportunity to align regional diagnosis in the global processes, sharing the practical experiences, assessing the needs, and also exploring all collaborative mechanisms can accelerate the transition and the climate action. I think the success of this transformation will largely depends on our collectivity ability to train, to update, and to connect the human talent that will make more sustainable, more competitive, and most of all, more inclusive region possible. So thank you very much for having us here.
Thank you, Gloria. Now let's move to the session on the joint announcement of the research project and case share. As we all know, countries and regions differ greatly in policy frameworks, technological capacity, financing, and human resources, all of which shape their energy transition pathways. To better understand these gaps and design more targeted training programs, GEIDCO, together with UNFCCC and PCCB, will jointly lead a new research initiative titled Global Energy Transition Capacity Building Gaps and Needs Analysis. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Liu Xinchang, Senior Manager at GEIDCO, to introduce the program.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Focusing on capacity building, I would like to introduce an important research program to be launched next. We all know that capacity building is crucial for promoting energy transition. GEIDCO deeply engages in global capacity building and knowledge sharing, having established the 5 pores and 1 platform capacity building training system and carried out relevant work. This is the diagram of a training system of GEIDCO. GEIDCO conducts energy and power training programs for regions around the world, especially global South countries. Till now, we have organized over 30 international training programs, attracting more than 10,000 participants from over 80 countries, including government officials, enterprise managers, and professional technicians. The training methods are diverse, including online courses, training at headquarters of GEIDCO, and on-site training by dispatched expert teams. The training content covers all key areas related to energy and power, enhancing the development capabilities of various countries in promoting energy transition. For example, in Africa, we co-hosted a special training on renewable energy development and financing with African Power Pool, and helping local renewable energy development through experience and case sharing. At GEIDCO's headquarters, we organized a special training on digital intelligent resilience power grid for students and faculty of Tsinghua University's Schwarzman colleague, deepening the understanding of energy transition paths among the participants from more than 10 countries. After successive major power outage in several Latin American countries, we conducted research right away and sent expert teams to carry out accident analysis and power grid upgrading training on site. Meanwhile, we are also conducting in-depth international cooperation on capacity building. We have established a training cooperation with many partners such as the UNFCCC, forming a varied cooperation model in co-hosting training, sharing faculty, and developing courses. In May this year, GEIDCO and UNFCCC established the energy cluster under the framework of PCCB network, carry out knowledge sharing, experience exchanges, and technical seminars. This is an important institutional innovation for us to leverage partnerships and promote capacity building in the energy sector. In the process of carrying out global capacity building activities, we deeply feel that different regions of the world are in different development stages, with various capacity building gaps and diverse training needs from our participants. For example, many training participants in Africa are more interested in topics such as the development of distributed renewable energy and project financing. Those in the West Asia region, they often hope to learn about the latest technologies and hot topics in industries like hydrogen energy. Therefore, we believe that a comprehensive global energy transition capacity building gap and need analysis is crucial. With this idea, we communicate with our partners and find that we share the same views. So we decided to jointly carry out this research. This initiative will be led by GEIDCO, UNFCCC, and the PCCB, with the participation of many partners including the UN agencies, government developments, enterprises, and think tanks. Its goal is to accurately identify the capacity gaps and shortcomings of entities in energy transition, laying the foundation for more targeted training programs in the future. To achieve this, the program will conduct in-depth research on the capacity gaps and needs in energy transition policies, technologies, talents, investment financing, and international cooperation across global regions. Specific research content includes the theory framework of capacity building, capacity gaps in core areas, capacity needs assessment of different stakeholders, and in-depth analysis of typical regions and countries. Finally, it will propose paths and policy recommendations to bridge the gaps. We will comprehensively adopt research methods such as indicator system construction and evaluation, questionnaires and expert interviews, case studies, and so on. In particular, we plan to conduct questionnaires among relevant entities in various regions to gain a detailed understanding of local conditions and invite international experts to conduct special interviews and consultations. The entire research program is scheduled to produce interim results by June next year and final results by the end of next year. These results will be jointly released by GEIDCO, UNFCCC, and PCCB, and will be promoted through platforms such as PCCB professional meetings and UNFCCC events. This is our research outline and design questionnaire. At today's event, we officially announce the launch of this research and welcome participation from all parties. We also welcome all parties to participate in other capacity building activities of GEIDCO. One of the important roles of GEIDCO is to provide a platform for experience and case sharing. In the grand process of a global energy transition, the actions of local governments and enterprises are crucial. As a typical representative of practicing green and low-carbon development, State-Grid Ningbo Electric Power Supply Company, affiliated to State-Grid Corporation of China, has explored a series of practical experience. Next, let's watch a short video to walk into Ningbo, China, and experience the vivid stories of the city on its path of green energy transition.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lily from the State Grid Corporation of China. It's a great honor to join this COP30 special session today and share with you the story of Ningbo, an eastern park city that is shaping its own path toward the energy conservation and carbon reduction. Now, let's embark together on this journey to explore Ningbo's new momentum of green energy. Our first stop, the world's largest park, Ningbo Zhoushan Park. Wind turbines and photovoltaic panels are generating continuous streams of green electricity. Energy-intensive equipment has been electrified and upgraded. Shore power now covers every berth. An intelligent energy system schedules every kilowatt of clean power with millisecond precision. Diesel-powered container trucks are being replaced by electric heavy trucks on a massive scale. At Ningbo Iron and Steel Company, we built Zhejiang Province's first electric heavy truck charging station, powered by the State Grid's self-developed 240 kilowatt dual-gun fast charging technology. Each truck can be fully recharged in just over an hour. This year, along the Ningbo to Yiwu New Energy Logistic Route, the first batch of charging stations has been put into operation in Ningbo's Beilun district. As China's champion city of manufacturing, how can we help these industries achieve low-carbon transformation? We created the Taozibao platform, focusing on air compression system upgrades while promoting integrated improvements in lighting, air, heat, and cooling loads. We have also trained energy carbon managers who calculate corporate carbon footprint, generate carbon passports. In some older communities, residents still face a dual challenge. Parking is difficult, and charging is even harder. To solve this, we built smart lamp post chargers. By combining streetlights with roadside parking spaces, we flexibly address this urban challenge. For e-bikes, we've created the Charging Station Cloud Platform. It provides an integrated approach, covering site selection, operation, and supervision putting all charging points into one smart network. Fueling station combines photovoltaic generation, energy storage, V2G, battery swapping, ultra-fast charging, and a microgrid system. When solar energy is abundant, the system automatically lowers charging prices, encouraging EV owners to charge using low-carbon green electricity, truly letting clean power flow into the city's wheels. Finally, we head to the countryside. This is Liao Village. Every rooftop shines with deep blue solar tiles that make full use of every ray of sunlight. The village achieves energy self-sufficiency while selling surplus electricity back to the grid, bringing villagers a stable source of income. The need for stable and professional electrical service has grown. So who ensures these needs are met, bridging the last mile of rural power service? In Ningbo, a shared electrician team answers that call. Village residents become satisfied electricians who serve their communities. One appointment ensures a quick nearby response. Now, under the Lights for Thousands of Homes initiative, the shared electrician model has expanded beyond Ningbo. This is not the finale, but a new beginning. We are building a comprehensive, multi-level green energy service system, driving Ningbo toward a cleaner, smarter, and more beautiful future. Travel across mountains and rivers, light up thousands of homes.
Okay, that's all for my introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Li. Now let's move to the panel discussion, moderated by Mr. David Oman, Program Officer of Capacity Building Subdivision at the UNFCCC Secretariat. Welcome.
Good morning, colleagues, and thanks a lot, and thanks to GEIDCO for the invitation. I would like to ask to join me on the stage Mr. Tamuji Chatterjee, Senior Officer of the SC for All Initiative. Hi, welcome. Ms. Annika Oelme, CTO of SKF Group. Welcome. Ms. Julia Sauder, CEO of the Long Duration Energy Storage Council. Welcome on there. And Ms. Elizabeth Nelson from the Council of Engineers for the Energy Transition at the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, SDSN. Hi, welcome. So we are running a bit behind, so we need to, in this panel, I think we have heard a lot of great input today. So I need to ask you to be a bit concise in your answers. We have some guiding questions. I think we can still make it with your cooperation. So if I can just start by the first question is, from your organization's perspective, what are the main capacity gaps and needs currently hindering global energy transition, particularly for the developing countries who are trying to accelerate their efforts? And maybe I start at the end of the panel. Sorry. Julia, sorry, yeah, Julia, you're right. Yes.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much. I have my other keynote calling me, asking me where I am, but I said, this is so important, I want to be here.
Yes.
So thank you so much. It's great to see you. I'll answer both questions together. I'm also the co-chair of the Global Renewables Alliance, and so it's a very proud moment to represent 6 trade associations representing the industry voice from renewable energy and storage and green hydrogen. And so we really are all meeting here. And I really applaud and really appreciate the comments earlier about capacity building and people being at the forefront and center of this. So I just want to highlight that we're committed to also tripling renewables and doubling down on energy efficiency. And we can't do this without the ability and the skills and institutions and infrastructure to deliver on this. We cannot secure just transition without modern grids, decentralized grids, long duration storage to make sure that we're having a clean, reliable, affordable, and accessible system for all. As we heard earlier, we heard a lot about grid interconnections and the backbone system. Long duration storage helps this work around the clock, and wanted to highlight that, you know, if we want balancing of power for hours and days, not only do we need the infrastructure, but we need the people behind it as well. As we have a new grids and storage pledge, just yesterday the ministry announced and are now moving into the action agenda. This is critical because we really want to see how it recognizes both rapid deployment, but again, with people at the center. We can't build without the technical capacity and the knowledge and know-how. And a third point, I love this, is that capacity building, it makes country equally able. This is so critical. It can't be one or the other. When we look at trade-offs, it's how do we look at the trade-off within the entire circle and ecosystem. I love seeing the presentation about Workforce Academy. We work with the World Bank on an energy storage partnership. We have technical capacity sections that we'd love to bring into the Academy. And again, thank you for GEIDCO for hosting us. This is so important. So I think integration is so key as well with different components. So we need the capacity of the skilled and workforce, we need the capacity of institutions, and we need the capacity of financing to also become part of this integration, and our community capacity. And I just want to highlight that storage isn't just a hardware, it's a capability system, and it's a capacity building system that really countries can own, operate, and sustain their own systems. One more on the Global Renewables Alliance. We are promoting best practices, and we do this through our different infrastructures and industry organizations. We want to make sure that there's market and policy reform and new contracting reform. And then training partnerships need to be a part of every new contract, because we want to make sure that the projects that are built for renewable energy and energy efficiency can continue to have the people making sure that insurance is good. And then also, want to highlight that we're moving from pledges to capacity, not just capability. And in all of these different just transition and regional training hubs, we have the support of MNDs and the development banks and many other groups. We want to just show that the commitment is also focused on deployment. And in closing, I just want to say a just and equitable transition is not only what we build, but it's who has the capability to build. And also, when we're moving forward, that as we look at grids and systems as a whole, and decentralized systems, that storage is so central because it touches every single community around the world. And I want to just say that let's leave COP with a shared understanding that storage is essential, capacity is intentional, and together they make the energy transition truly equitable. So thank you all so very much. We look forward to working with all of you, because this partnership takes people to make projects happen. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I'm
Julia.
so sorry.
And I know you need to leave now, right? Yes. Thank you very much. Thanks for making the time. Good luck with your keynote. And I think Julia gave a very good example how you can bridge 3 guiding questions in 1 intervention. So if you can follow her example to just maybe capture, I think we had guiding questions that pointed to the fact of like, what are the gaps and needs? What is one best practice that you can present? And what are potential areas of cooperation? And that's, I think, especially interesting in this context of COP30. So maybe I turn to Annika now, if you can give us some reflections on that.
Yes. So I represent SKF, a global industrial company really using power in 130 countries across the world for making industrial components, and anything that rotates is our business. So I want to take this into the perspective of where the energy transition actually happens in the companies, which is where we actually need to be. This force is on the ground. So I would like to highlight a couple of things. We have been on the ground in China for 110 years, and we are very grateful for the ability for us to use renewable energy for our operations in China and many other countries, because that actually enables investments in those countries. As a company, we have very bold sustainability targets. And these are built on the capacity of the power grids, of course, for renewable energy. We are going to be completely CO2 neutral in scope 1 and 2 in our total global operations by 2030. In China, we are well on our way, and we will meet that target. To be able to do that, we need the help from the organizations that we have here to create the ability to access renewable energy. I would also like to make a point on what we can do for energy efficiency as well, because the energy we don't use is, of course, a clear saving also on the power grid. So energy efficient solutions and policy to promote energy efficient solutions is also a key to make sure that the grid can be enough for what we need. So I urge us to come closer together between the corporations and the companies on the ground using the energy with the power grid solutions so that we can reach this target faster together. We are the ones who use the energy, and we rely on you, and we want to work more closely together in the future. And we expect also to do so in China, but also across the other 130 countries where we operate. Thank you.
Thank you, Annika. And I think that was a very exciting example from the ground, also from a private sector perspective. Maybe I turn now to Elizabeth for your reflections on the topic. I lined out 3 areas, and yeah, if you can just join maybe your response into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So a bit of background information first. So I'm with the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, SDSN, which is an organization focused on mobilizing the knowledge base in higher education institutions and research bodies for the SDG agenda and sustainable development generally. So within that, there are 3 kind of themes that are recurrent through a lot of our programming is the technical aspects, the financial aspects, and the policy aspects. So I think that a lot of the capacity building and skills fit into all 3 of those. Some of the activities that I'll highlight for our organization from the technical side, this is close and near and dear to my heart because it's the work that I do with the Council of Engineers for the Energy Transition. It's an independent advisory body to the United Nations Secretary General and is a body of about 50 engineers and energy systems experts trying to advance net zero emissions towards 2050. So this body was established by the Secretary General to help leverage engineering perspectives in the energy transition, because of course there's so many policy needs, financing needs, but if you don't have the technical expertise to back the grid expansion storage, as we heard from the long duration storage organization. So I think that's a really key aspect right there. And then additionally, within the financing, SDSN also works at the national and local levels with governments to support capacity training with development banks and national government officials, because securing the economy is an incredibly important aspect of the energy transition and helps enable other parts of all the different transition aspects of skilling and education. And so I'll also highlight one of our programs that is Global Schools for SDG 7. And so we have a partnership with Siemens Energy where we are gamifying education around renewables and different energy topics across the globe. So this program works with teachers and vocational experts to educate students in grade school, so under university level, about renewable energy to really integrate this into core curricula at the start and not just waiting until university or until you're in a career to be learning about these topics, but really planting the seed early. So we hit the technical, we hit a bit of the policy and financial, and then of course the capacity training. So I'll stop there. I know we're short on time.
Great. Thank you, Elizabeth. And I think also very interesting reflection on that we actually need to start very early planting these ideas, and then it will be much more effective. I think that's something that we also see throughout, like that universities, like schools, need to build a foundation to build then capacities in a specialized sector. So Tamerjit, sustainable energy for all actually already speaks to very much a cooperation perspective. So maybe I give you the floor to speak to that and close this panel. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, David. And firstly, thank you very much to GEIDCO and our partners in China for hosting this session. It's very good to actually see a lot of familiar faces in the room as well. What I did want to maybe start off with, for those who don't know SE for All, is we were born as a UN initiative in 2011, which was launched by then Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. And our main mandate over the many years that now in existence has really been to support countries on their SDG 7 targets, which are all those 3 pillars of Sustainable Development Goals 7, right? Which is universal access to electricity and clean cooking, tripling renewables and doubling energy efficiency. One of the key aspects of work that we focus on especially, and I did want to pick up what our colleague from Bangladesh, from the government of Bangladesh said about these 4 dimensions of the powers. He mentioned 3, I'll add a 4th one, which is, he mentioned institutions, actors, and technology. I'll add partnerships to that because that is very key as well. So I'll frame my response to all these 4 sort of dimensions. So in terms of the work that we do, when we do a lot of work on energy planning, especially supporting countries now in 25 countries globally on helping sort of look at what their long-term energy system looks like, especially in terms of the renewable pathway. One of the key things that we have seen is on political will. That is very, very key from the very start. So Her Royal Highness was mentioning that magic always happens when the top meets the bottom. So we need to actually start at that and strengthen that political will. And one of the things that we have been sort of really focused on is bringing together an intergovernmental approach. Energy transition is not just about the Ministry of Energy. It's about bringing the Climate Ministry. It's about bringing the Ministry of Finance. It's about bringing the Ministry of Industry to the same table, so that from the very beginning when a country is planning, we have an intergovernmental buy-in. We have buy-in from all different sectors of the economy. Secondly, when we heard a lot, especially from the professor as well, about institutions and the need to build institutional capacity. So we work very directly with energy planners. I see Mark Howells in the room as well from CCG. And this is an approach that we really appreciate, where it's about ensuring that institutional capacity stays within the planning ministry, within the Ministry of Energy's planning department, long after SE for All or a CCG has gone back to Vienna and London, right? Because at the end of the day, that capacity needs to stay within the country itself. And the way that we do it is really a hands-on sort of taking the hand of the energy planners from the very beginning of the project cycle all the way to the very end when the model has been developed and handed over to the ministry. Open access, open source tools are very, very critical to this aspect. And that's the reason why, the sort of tools that we use, whether that be the osmosis model or the SE for All's energy systems model, or whether it be geospatial technologies, all of those sort of need to be open access. Governments need to be able to be very confident in the data that they are presenting and that they're backing, right? And that's why technology is such a key pillar in ensuring that. And lastly, you cannot do all of this without partnerships. So it's very important to get the development partners around the table in the country aligned, so that we are not repeating ourselves, we are not duplicating work that other agencies are doing, and we are sort of complementing each other, especially at the country level, which is so critical. So I'll stop here, but these are some of the lessons that we have learned with our work over the past few years. Thank you.
Thank you, and also thank you for all of our panelists for, if I can borrow this word from the negotiation room, streamlined panel discussion. And yeah, this concludes our panel. I think I leave the reflections to my boss who's coming now. And thank you, all of you, for your reflections. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the panelists for such a dynamic and insightful discussion. Now we come to the closing session. Let's welcome Ms. Dee Koenig, Director of Means of Implementation Division at the UNFCCC Secretariat, to deliver the closing remarks. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Distinguished delegates, participants, colleagues, and partners. It's been a truly inspiring session. It was really refreshing to hear all the perspectives shared today, from policymakers and technical experts to our partners across international organizations and academia. I also would like to thank warmly our co-organizers, GEIDCO and Sustainable Development Solutions Network, for their commitment and the collaboration in making this event possible. And I also want to recognize the strong partnership with GEIDCO beyond this event, together with UNFCCC, which is a partnership which continues to grow and is translating really a shared vision in tangible results. So thank you very much. Together we're working towards a more connected, more inclusive, more evidence-based and grounded approach to capacity building for the global energy transition. And we all know that the transition is already underway and that it is capacities, knowledge, institutions that are powering it forward. So today the launch of the Global Energy Transition Capacity Building Gap Analysis marks a significant step. It helps us pinpoint where the needs are the greatest and how together we can fill those gaps. This achievement is thanks to the remarkable work of the PCCB Network's Energy Cluster, which is the first of its kind within the PCCB network, and to the leadership and dedication of GEIDCO as its champion. Today's events really show how platforms like the PCCB network and the Capacity Building Hub are essential in order to bring people together, fostering cooperation, sparkling new collaborations, linking global research to national implementation, sharing solutions that are both effective and equitable. And here we're connecting the dots, we just heard it again today, the dots between capacity, technology, finance, ensuring that our collective efforts reinforce one another rather than operate separately. Because we know technology provides the tools, finance provides the resources, and capacity provides the people, institutions, and systems that can make this transition not only possible, but also lasting and equitable. So we really look forward to continuing our partnership with you all, working together to address capacity building gaps, advance such needs assessment work, and take all this effort further. Here at COP30 in Belém, we've been reminded that climate action is a shared endeavor, a meteorau that brings together diverse capacities, perspectives, strengths, a movement that can, through sustained demand-led capacity building, help achieve an energy transition that leaves no one behind. So it's not just about this event, it's about building this culture of cooperation and sustained commitment so that we can continue the journey together long after COP30 closes. So I thank you very much for your engagement, your ideas and partnership. And with this, I close the event. Thank you very much.